Hey everybody, I'm Adrian Bustamante and welcome to Food Deconstructed. On this episode, we'll be deconstructing the comfort food staple, chicken pot pie. But this recipe is going to be just a little bit different as the vegetarian chicken pot pie stickers. And I know what you're thinking, how can you make a chicken pot pie without the chicken? It's crazy, right? I promise you, this chicken-free riff on the pot pie is going to be so delicious and meaty, you won't even miss the chicken. Now, the first thing we're going to do is make our filling. Now, the ingredients for our filling are going to be our carrots, our cabbage, some portobello mushroom, some frozen peas, white onion, some garlic, and some chicken-free base. Now, the first thing we're going to use is the portobello mushroom. Dice these up, put these mushrooms in our pan here, and caramelize them up a bit. We're going to add a little extra virgin olive oil to our pan. We're going to take these, throw them in here, share a little sizzle. If you need to put a little more oil on it, feel free, as mushrooms do soak up oil like crazy. Next up is we're going to dice up just a little bit more carrot here. We're also going to dice up a half of a white onion. Now, a white onion, it's diced up. You can also mince your garlic up for this recipe as well, but I like the garlic press just because it takes away from some of the mess that you create by having to chop and mince everything. Mix that around, make sure it's just, that garlic kind of coats most of our vegetables that we have in there. Now we're gonna let that sit for a few minutes and let everything kind of come together and heat up a little bit more, and then we're gonna add a couple more things. I'm gonna add our cup of shredded cabbage, a cup of frozen peas. Now we're going to cook these two items up in here until you see that the peas are starting to thaw out a little bit. It shouldn't take much time at all. What we're going to add next and last is our vegetarian chicken base. We're going to use about 1.5 teaspoons of this. Trying to get that base over all our vegetables, give that chicken flavor. I'm going to set this aside. Now we're going to use the same pan to make the next step, which is our gravy. Now, our ingredients for the gravy are going to be another half of a diced onion, 2 tablespoons of butter, some vegetable stock, some garlic powder, some soy sauce, and some flour. Now the first thing we're going to throw in here is 2 tablespoons of butter, along with our onions. Now the reason we're using the same pan is we're actually going to be deglazing the pan. Now deglazing the pan is just basically diluting the sediments that are already originally in the pan with some liquid, which in this case is going to be some vegetable stock, and just creating that flavor for our gravy, or the base for our gravy. So mix these around, and as always, I cook these onions until they're nice and translucent or clear. Who doesn't love the smell of onions and butter? Our next step is going to be adding the flour. Now, by adding the flour and the butter together, we're going to be creating what they call a roux, R-O-U-X. Now, a roux is just adding flour to some sort of fat, which in this case is butter, to help create a thickness for our gravy. Mix this around, and you're going to mix it until it gets nice and pasty. All right, now next up we're going to add our vegetable stock. Again, mixing it around. While that's going, you're also going to add your cup of cream. Again, mixing it up, stirring it up until it starts to thicken. Then we're going to add some of our spices. It's got that normal gravy smell. People get a little worried when you start talking vegetarian, but I guarantee if I brought somebody in here that had no idea this was a vegetarian dish, they would immediately think that this is a chicken-based gravy almost. We're going to add some soy sauce, 2 tablespoons to be exact, a teaspoon of garlic powder, salt and pepper to taste. Keep mixing that up. Is we're going to use a pot sticker or wonton wrappers. Is you want to just put a little bit of the filling in the center of the wrapper. Now the reason you only want to put a little bit is you don't want any of it seeping out. And if you're not really accustomed to making these, they kind of fall apart on you a little bit in the beginning before you get the hang of it. Just going to bring a little bit of water in, and I'm just going to dab it around the edges here. Fold it over. A little wonton. Get our pan ready. We're going to put 2 tablespoons of butter, as well as some vegetable oil. So you put the vegetable oil on there. What that's going to do is going to create that nice golden brown and crispiness. You're going to see some bubbles start coming up around from the pot stickers. These are getting nice and brown on one side, so we're going to flip them over so you can get an even coat to them. All right, and these look to be just about done. Now, let's bring back in our gravy. And we're going to put in a little garnishment off the side, make it a little prettier. Here we go, guys. Vegetarian chicken pot pie stickers. All right, let's see how good these taste, or hopefully taste. Again, we're trying to deconstruct the pot pie. So you have the crunchiness of the crust of a pot pie normally coming from the wrapper. The inside is that great vegetable mixture of carrots and peas and onions. And you also get that meaty taste that we were hoping for from the mushrooms. And then that gravy we made, you would have no idea that it's not chicken based. It's nice and thick and hearty. It has tons of flavor coming out of it. There you go. Vegetarian chicken pot pie stickers. And there you go. Stay tuned for our next episode where we chicken and waffles pot pie style.